So now we're done importing raw data into ArcGIS. So you can see I've saved this as FieldMove raw WGS84. And the last thing that we're going to do with this file is create a projection. So we need to project this into the New York State coordinate system because we are working in the Adirondack Mountains. And so we need to go back to our toolbox here. We need to go to Data Management Tools. And now we're going to go down to Projections and Transformations. And there is something called Batch Projects, and that's under the raster tool here. But no, it's not under raster. Anyways, Projections, Transformations, Batch Project. So now you pick the ones that you want to do the projections with. I'm going to worry about the 2017 data, shapefiles that I've generated. So you press Add. And the output workspace is going to be the folder that you're working in. So for mine, that's Skiff Mountain. You can add the name. Oh, I'm sorry, actually, you want to get this, you want to connect the, so you go and then you connect to the folder that you're working in, you press Add, and then the output coordinate system is going to be NAD 1983, UTM zone 18 north, and if you don't know where this is because it's not in your favorites yet, you can go projected coordinate system, UTM, and then UTM, NAD 1983, and you find zone 18N. And then you can click it over here to add to your favorites like I've done, and so that you don't have to go finding it every time. Okay, so you press OK. And now our projection is finished. So that leaves us to our next step of creating our map in a new Arc window. Now I'm going to add data, and I'm going to add the new projected shapefiles that we made. And so after the projection it was done, there's an _1 that gets added to the original file. So I'm going to go ahead and select the shapefiles that have the 1. And so then we do that for all of the data that we were just using, and this is now in my official geological map file instead of the raw data that I was working in before. So you can go ahead and make sure not to get confused to use the _1 and bring in everything that you just created. we're going to change the plane to our strike and dip symbol. So all these gray diamonds are going to turn into strike and dip symbols. So the first thing you do is double click on your plane shapefile. You're going to be in symbology, then unique values, and the value field here is going to be this plane type. And then you press add all values. So these were the different types of measurements that I made in the field. So we'll start here with this flow banding. You double click the symbol, and you type foliation. And so I'm going to press this once and then press edit symbol. And you can see here we're in this geology symbols. What's best to do is to change this to 400 over here in preview so you can see what you're doing. You'll notice that in this one, there's an offset from the center. And so if you go to the top here in this first line of symbols, this one is centered, and so I'm going to pick this for the flow banding. And the size is going to be 5. You're going to have to check this in Adobe because sometimes, even though you tell it 5 in Arc, it might not actually translate onto paper to being 5, so this might be something you have to adjust later. But for now, just press OK. You can press OK again. So you do the same for all of your different symbols, and when you have finished doing that for each one of them, you need to go to Advance, go to Rotation, and you have to make sure that you have Strike selected, and rotation style is Geographic, so you press OK. And when you're done changing everything, you press OK again. And then you can see here that we have these change to a strike and dip symbol. Now the next thing to do is add the dip values to your symbols. So we're going to double click on our strike and dip symbol. You go to labels, check the label features in this layer. The label field, you drop down to dip, change the size to 6, and then placement properties, offset label horizontally around the point. So it's going to be put on the right of the symbol, and you can change the location as you like, but I will keep it like this. Then you press OK, press Apply, and press OK. So you can see the numbers have popped up. A nice way to look at everything is to go over here to Layout View, and you can pick our scale. I'm going to do 1 to 10,000. Then it's important, Arc has a few different zoom features. If you're in Layout View, you have to use this symbol here, the zoom in feature with the little map paper behind it. Otherwise it changes your, it won't maintain this scale that you set it at. So you can go ahead and zoom in. And I'm going to get rid of some of this so that we can just see our strike and dip symbol. So everything is on there. There's going to be ways to touch this up and make it so that things aren't so crowded. But generally speaking, that's the workflow. One thing you're going to want to do before you move on is to double check that everything that you have in here is accurate. So if you open up the attributes table to your plane file, so that's here, if you right click and click open attributes table, this pops up, and use the selection tool up here, and you click on, actually you click and drag to select this strike and dip symbol, and then if you click this show selected records, we can go ahead and double check that everything was mapped correctly or plotted correctly. So the dip is 47, and that's correct, and the strike 349. So if we look at this here, that's in agreement with what's plotted. So let's get our toolbars in order before we keep going. So first you can go to Customize Toolbars and press Advanced Editing. This will pop up and we can dock it here. Next, we want to check that we have a few key things. So in this top row here, you should see this Create Features, Start Editing, Stop Editing, Save Edits, Edit Tool, and Attributes. If you don't see these buttons on your Arc, you have to go to this Toolbars option, Customize, Commands, and then you can simply type in the command that you're looking for. So start editing. And then here is this editor option down here. So then you would take this and drag it to your toolbar so that you have that option. So you want to do that again for the ones that I had just listed out. And like I said, it's Create Features, Start Editing, Stop, Save, Edit, and Attributes. So the next one that we want to bring up, if you go down over here to the Edit Vertices toolbar, and then you can also dock this one. The next toolbar to add is called Snapping. If you don't have this already, you can also dock it. We're going to want to make sure that we have certain data added. So go to Add Data and make sure that your projected contacts and faults is in this file. So you want to click Add. So this is similar to this 2017 line, but contacts and faults has all of the rock units. So I'm going to click this off. Now we can double click on this, open it up, go to Categories, Value Field, Rock Unit, and press Add All Values, and OK. We want to save a new map, and we're going to name it Skiff Mountain, and then Contacts, Faults, Map. So you can see we've changed the name here for the next part of our tutorial.